Ilara was a bright art student, excited about her new placement. She was assigned to Mrs. Gable, an elderly woman living in an old, isolated house at the very edge of town, right where the paved roads turned to gravel. The house itself was beautiful, in a decaying sort of way, draped in ivy and shadows. Inside, it smelled of dust and dried flowers, and every wall was covered with paintings, some beautiful, some unsettling, all with eyes that seemed to follow you. Mrs. Gable was frail but had sharp, bright eyes that seemed to take everything in. It was during her second visit that Ilara met Silas, Mrs. Gable's nephew. He was a quiet man in his late 30s, with an intense stare that made Ilara feel like he was looking right through her. He often just stood in doorways or sat in a shadowed corner, watching them work. Mrs. Gable used a small battered phrasebook to translate between them, and through it Silas once said, "Your hands are strong, good for our family work." It was a strange compliment, and the way he said family sent a shiver down Ilara's spine. The gifts started subtly. A dried, pressed wildflower left on her art supplies. A small, intricately carved wooden bird she found on her car seat. Then, one morning, she found a sketch, a surprisingly accurate drawing of her, asleep, left on the table. Silas would appear without a sound, always just checking on Aunt Clara, but his eyes were always on Ilara. His presence grew from unsettling to truly intrusive, a shadow always just at the edge of her vision. Mrs. Gable's conversations became more focused on Ilara's life outside the house. "Your family must miss you, so far away," she would say, even though Ilara had never mentioned where her family lived. One afternoon, Mrs. Gable remarked on the dent in Ilara's car door, a small detail. Ilara had barely noticed herself. "You fit in so well here, dear," Mrs. Gable said, patting her hand. "Part of the family now." Ilara's unease twisted into a cold knot of dread. They knew too much. Ilara decided that day would be her last. As she packed her things, Mrs. Gable brought out a dusty photo album. "Our family," she said, pointing to faded faces. "So much history. And now, you." Silas entered, silent as always, holding a rolled-up canvas. He unrolled it to reveal a disturbing portrait of Ilara, with a dark, swirling background that looked like ink and blood. "For the family altar," he murmured, his voice low and guttural. The phrasebook lay abandoned, its pages fluttering in a non-existent breeze. Silas moved closer, a glint of metal catching the dim light. It was an antique ceremonial knife, its blade dark with age, its hilt intricately carved. "Time to make it official," he whispered, a chilling smile spreading across his face. "Cut the old ties, join the new." Ilara's mind screamed. She saw the front door, slightly ajar, a sliver of grey daylight bleeding through. It was now or never. With a surge of adrenaline, she pushed past Silas, knocking over a heavy lamp, and lunged for the door. She burst through the front door, not daring to look back, the gravel crunching under her feet as she sprinted to her car. Fumbling with the keys, she started the engine and sped away. In her rearview mirror, through the gathering dusk, she saw him, Silas, standing perfectly still in the open doorway, framed by the shadows of the house, watching her go. His expression was unreadable, but the stillness of his figure sent a fresh wave of terror through her. He was not surprised, he was just watching. Ilara reported everything. The police investigated, but found nothing, just an old woman and her quiet nephew who claimed Ilara had overreacted to a family offer. No knife, no disturbing drawings, nothing. Ilara was safe, but the memory of Silas' eyes haunted her. Sometimes, late at night, she would see a beat-up sedan parked a few blocks from her apartment, or a figure that looked just like Silas in a crowd. She never saw him clearly, but the feeling lingered. They believed she was still part of their family, and they were still watching.